For everyone who has some land or is thinking about having some land, this video is for you. It will save you time, energy, effort, and it will make it so easier for you and the environment around you to thrive before you actually go into gardening, planting beds, landscaping, any kind of thing like that. Hi and welcome in today's video. Maryam here, sharing about how to live a more nourishing, energizing, and prosperous life. In today's video, I am sharing my method for no digging. I don't like, as I shared in the previous video, I do not like digging, but I got some land, and this land is also used to plant and to garden and to plant fruits and vegetables for my daughter especially, and her friends, etc., and the community. But the idea is to be able to prepare the land for planting, meaning get rid of the weeds so that the plants can grow without other roots in the way, and then to get the soil softened and have this texture and nutrients in the soil that are going to help for vegetables and fruits to then grow when the season is there. So those two things that are necessary, get rid of the weed, plants to grow nutrients, soil soften. For these two how shall I say, results, you need normally you need to dig. That's the reason why people dig, to get the soil ready. But then digging has 4 cons, I would say, that goes with this. Digging is tiring first. You have to really use your whole body to dig. It takes a long time. It is damaging and disturbing for the environment, meaning all the worms there, not only that you can just kill them, but as well that they feel like, it's kind of, imagine your whole house is collapsing. It's kind of traumatizing for them. Therefore, they don't really help you anymore. They kind of run away, or it will take them time again to settle back in this digged environment and do the work that they normally like doing or are meant to do, which is breaking down the environment, the soil, into nutrients for the plant. This is one of the things that they do. And when you dig, you disturb this work. You disturb the worms' work and all the insects and all the microbiome of the environment that you are digging in. And we kind of really want to avoid this, because instead, if you can get these animals to help you by doing the work that they normally do without disturbing their environment, then it's gonna benefit you in the long term instead of doing the opposite. And then the last drawback, number 4, which is really, really annoying, is that you have to constantly dig. As soon as a weed comes back, and more weeds, and which are gonna come back very fast, you need to constantly dig again and again. It's a non-stop job. And then constantly disturbing and constantly annoying and constantly getting your body like tired, when you really don't need to do any of this. And so to remove the weeds and prepare the soil, the 2 reasons why we dig in the first place, when we prepare a garden beds, etc., you don't actually need to dig. You just need to find a way to get the weeds to turn into compost and nutrients naturally without digging, and get the weeds to not grow back, and get the soil ready for the plants to be able to grow into it. And for this, there are 2 techniques really. Number 1, you can just cover the ground so that the weeds just start decomposing in the ground, and it's helping then the worms and all the insects to break down the weeds even more, to turn them into nutrients for your plants. And for this, you just have to prevent the weeds from having access to the sunlight, because how do weeds grow? Through the sunlight. If there's no sunlight and if it's just black, pitch black, they just won't grow anymore. And they will just break down naturally in the soil, creating compost naturally, which is in turn going to help your plants, the worms, everyone is happy. With no digging, of course. And then the second technique you want to add to the method is adding some soil, which is going to help your plants grow into on top of the coverage. So that then you don't have to dig your soil, in which you would normally have to add compost or manure or any kind of helper for the plants to grow anyway. So you might as well just go straight to the point, add soil on top of a covered area. There is your method. With a no-dig method, there is no hard work because you just don't dig at all. However, there is still a bit of work, which is potentially using a wheelbarrow, unless you can use something else, another type of container, to add your soil or compost on top of your coverage. So now how or what do you use to cover the soil? One great way is to simply use cardboard, and it's free. You can have access to it pretty much everywhere, especially if you live in a town or a city. And this is what I do. Cardboard is natural, it decomposes naturally. It's a great way to cover the weeds. It's strong enough to last long enough until your plants are ready to grow into it. Basically, cardboard is great. And so what I've been doing is going to estates, businesses, shops, all, the companies around. Basically, everyone uses cardboard nowadays. The shop around the corner, the neighbor ordering on Amazon, IKEA, etc. The florist out there getting his flowers delivered, anything like that. Anywhere you can actually find cardboard. And I'm amazed at how I look around myself and I see all these treasures that people just throw away, and instead of just letting this happen, because all the cardboard that's thrown away isn't just going to be used for recycling anyway, because only part of what we throw away as recycling is actually being recycled, you may as well just use it for your own land to create a no-dig garden and enjoy the benefits of not digging and having your plants thrive in something natural, recycled. So once you get some cardboard, then you just cover your land. Basically, you just cover every single area. You don't leave 1 centimeter bare or naked. You just have to cover every little inch, because the purpose is to just prevent the light again from going through, reaching your grass, reaching your weeds. You just want the whole area to be covered, if this is what you want, to just get rid of the grass and the weeds. Even if you don't plan on growing things and you don't really know yet how you're going to organize beds and landscaping and building work, while your thinking process is going on, just cover the land so that things don't grow, especially if you're coming to autumn, winter. That's an ideal time to just cover everything while everything is dormant, until you get your head clear. If it's not the case, I'm just saying this because this is my case, I need time to figure out things. And then when spring comes, you are ready to go. Go meaning planting and building, etc. Okay, so you just make sure you cover everywhere. Do remove the tape on the cardboard, and do avoid cardboard which has a plastic layer on it. Some of those cardboards you can actually remove the plastic layer, but not all of them, and you just don't want those cardboards because they are going to pollute the soil instead of actually decomposing into compost and nutrients for your plants. Once your area is covered in cardboard, then you want to add things that are suited to your project. So let's say you're not growing anything right away. You may want to put wood chips, bark, mulch, maybe straw, things that are just going to cover the cardboard and protect the cardboard, therefore protect the soil from flying away, decomposing too fast. And ideally, I would recommend mulch or wood chips because it's natural, it lasts a long time, and then it decomposes naturally, and it's just good looking. Also, depending on where you live, you can get wood chips for free. Check online in your local area and look for free wood chips with free delivery as well. Organizations like arborists usually do want to get rid of their wood chips because this is just a waste for them, and that can really benefit you because if you have to pay for it, it can cost a bit, especially if your land is big. But if you can get it for free, like what I have in my area, I do get access to free wood chips, and that's really, really cool because you just cover then your cardboard in wood chips, and then you can do whatever you want. If you do want to plant straight away or soon, maybe even after the winter in 3 months from now on, then you can use soil. You can just put soil on the cardboard. That's also what I did. I did buy the soil because I didn't want to use the soil on my land. I felt like I wanted to keep my land uneven. I will talk about this a little later and why. And rather than using the soil on my land, I just bought some soil and put it on top of the cardboard. In between the wood chips, because I just like it. I think it looks good and it's just matching my projects later on. But do you? You can also get some free soil depending on where you live. Some people get rid of soil or manure. which is horses poo basically. Just look around, shop around, connect with your community and check, because you can get access to a lot of free things depending on where you live and the season. Now, depending on how fast you want your project to get going, you can plant straight away on the soil that you've put on top of your cardboards if you do wish to. However, I do recommend to wait a little bit, because if your cardboard is thick, like very, very thick, then the plants may have a bit of difficulty growing their roots through your cardboards, because what happens is you have your layer of soil and then the layer of cardboard and then the actual ground that you have untouched, and then the root of the plant is growing through all of this naturally. You don't even have to do anything else. This is just so great, right? But it's just better to wait. Let's say ideally you want to wait all the winter, so let's say 3-4 months, because then the cardboard has time to soften and decompose so that your roots, the roots of your plants, can grow through without any disturbance. I would really recommend to not be in a hurry when you garden, when you work on the land. The best quality of a landscaper, gardener, builder is patience, because really there is no reason to be in a hurry. The seasons just come and go in a cycle, so you just take your time and work in the moment and chill, and that's going to make the whole project and work a lot easier and fun. Because if you're in a hurry, really, are we not greedy when we're in a hurry? What are we in a hurry for? To have the plants faster, to eat faster those veg and fruits? There's no point being in a hurry. Now, what if some weeds do end up growing through? It will probably happen, you know, nature just works through anything. And so if some weeds grow through, you will notice that very, very little weed do grow. I feel like I've started doing this 3 months ago, so covering my land with cardboards and not digging. And I've had like a few little weeds growing through, but then it's like really, really ridiculous considering the amount of weeds that were there in the first place. So you can just remove them by hand, or just leave them to grow until you feel like you want to remove them, or just cover them back with mulch or even a piece of cardboard and then mulch on top or soil. But it's up to you what you want to do. For me, I'm not really picky with every single weed, but I've just removed some with my hand. Make sure you get to the root, and that's just enough. It's a lot easier than just digging back again and again and again. And in 3 months of time, I would say 99% of my land stayed covered and weed free, and maybe 1% got some weeds growing through. So it's just great. My neighbor, the person next to my land who has also some land and has been digging, he had to dig twice already, if not 3 times, in 3 months to just remove the weeds, and he had to dig the entire area, the entire land, basically, when I was there chilling, looking at my land and covering it with cardboard, and my land is twice bigger as his. What if your land is uneven? So there's 2 versions there, or 2 ideals, or 2 scenarios. Some people would say people who tend to make it easier for themselves. We humans tend to want everything straight, everything easy, everything reachable. Again, is that greedy or not? I do not know, I won't say. But some people would tell you, you need to make your land even, so that it's just easy to put the cardboard, to put the soil, and then to grow plants and just have access to your plants, vegetable, fruits, whatever. But then there is Mother Nature here, which is not even, which is full of hills and holes and ups and downs, and that's what makes it fun and nice. So it's up to you whether you want to keep your land uneven, which is what I'm doing, or you want to keep your land straight. And believe me, so many people have told me, so then you're going to even your land and then add some soil and grow, right? And I was like, maybe not, maybe. But I'm not doing this because I do like the mountains and the hills, and my daughter likes it too. It's just more fun. You know, nature isn't straight and even. You have some landscape and differences in the landscape, and that makes it nice. But yes, I mean, it's probably going to be more challenging to put the cardboards and then to put your wood chips or soil on top. And you may just be creative. Just be creative. In the holes, you may want to create a mud pit, a sand pit. Depends on what your project is about, what kind of gatherings you want to create, what kind of community projects you want to do. Again, this is not just for you, it's also for other people to enjoy with you. You may want to use straw bales and put it in the hole, or on top you want to create mounds of maybe self-fertile mounds. I'm going to share about this in another video where you don't actually have to water the plants anymore, and that's a very good way of using mounds. And again, the hills and ups and down of your land. You may want to have other ideas of creation. Plant a tree, I don't know, think about it. But if your land isn't even, you can still use the nodig method. You just have to be a bit more creative, imaginative, and think. Also, you need to observe a lot when you do gardening and landscaping, like look at where the sun is rising and where is the sunset. Look at where the wind comes from, look at where the trees already are, look at the shape of your land, look at where things are growing naturally already, look at the path of the animals, and work together with nature instead of just working with your head, because that's just gonna lead to a thing that may not work long term, and things that just may not connect along with nature nicely. If you work with nature, you win. If you don't work with nature, you challenge yourself. And that's it for my method, no-dig method, and the way I do it. You can go further, as I said, and even on top of not digging, you can not water your land and your plants. I will be sharing about this method later on because I am just working actually on it at the moment. This video is part of a series that I'm sharing about landscaping, gardening, and working on the land, especially when you are a beginner like me. Stay tuned for more videos and join the newsletter for more information. I shall catch you up later. Bye now.